All right, guys. So super excited. My name is Moises. Again, real estate agent with home expansion at EXP Luxury. Giving you guys updates about the real estate market. So important for home expansion. Giving you guys more insight of what's happening. We want to make sure that we bring you the latest news about what's in the horizons for real estate. So today I'm excited because I have a good friend here who I've known for years, who has very similar values as I do as home expansion. We have similar views of life. We have kids, we have a family, so we have the same priorities in life. And I like to bring those kind of people inside our space to just share more. So super excited to have Mr. Daniel Estrada with us here. Daniel, introduce yourself.
Well, hey everyone, Daniel Estrada here from Cross Country Mortgage. Glad to be here, Moises. Super excited. I've always watched your videos and kind of wondering what you were doing, and now here we are. So I'm super excited to be with you, bud.
Now you're in the studio. You get to see what it looks like, what it feels like. What do you think? What's your first impression of the studio?
Man, this is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome, brother.
I always tell people it's everything's always a work in progress, right? And nothing happens overnight. Right, at least for me, it's always been a work in progress. It's always a journey, and even this studio has been a work in progress. Supported by a lot of great people, just like you, and real estate for us. Real estate for our business doesn't just happen because Maria and I. It happens because it's supported by a lot of people. So it's kind of just a reflection of what we do with business too. So we're excited to have you here, brother.
Oh man, thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about Daniel Estrada, where you work at, your experience. Give everybody just kind of dump on people who you are.
All right. Well, I've been in the mortgage business, Moises, as you know, over 21 years. I've been here through pretty much different markets. I was here during the recession of 08 and 09. I was able to journey through the market when the economy was trying to get back together. The fear was in the economy. So I was there when we pushed through and we came to some really good times. I've been with Cross Country Mortgage now a little over 2 years, and I feel like I am definitely in a position with a solid company backing me up so that I can come out to the community, Moises, and be able to share and be able to contribute in today's market as we enter into a somewhat of a recession. But I feel like I'm in a better position as an advisor. I feel like I'm wiser than back in 08 and 09. And so I feel really confident that we are in a great position to help as many families as we can in this community.
So question for you, man, and I think that I definitely want to hit this off with this one. Are we in a recession?
In the world you're seeing right, they're not saying the recession world, but if you ask me personally, yes, we are in a recession. I like to track data. I am a big data guy, just like you, right? And we could see that when 7 out of 10 Americans only have $500 in savings, when we see that our national debt is at all-time high, when we see the community struggling financially, that is an indication that we are in a recession or entering a recession. And this is why I definitely have to say yes.
I totally agree, man. I think that the biggest factor that we've seen in the home buyers right now is the savings account.
Correct.
Right? If we compare it 2.5 years ago, where the market was rapidly growing, moving fast at speeds that even you and I were like, what is this, right? But the one thing that I've noticed that's changed in the last couple of months is that the savings that people have in their account has dramatically changed for a lot of things, though, not just because of real estate, but because the cost of goods has changed dramatically too.
I agree. I totally see that the cost of inflation has really it's snuck up on a lot of folks, and a lot of people didn't understand how it worked, but now they're realizing that they went and exhausted all their credit lines, and now they're exhausting their savings account, and so that's one of the reasons why they're feeling the impact, is because of cost of inflation.
So here's my question to you: how do you see the real estate market right now at this very moment?
From a consumer, a buyer standpoint, honestly, guys, I see the market as a great time. I honestly do. People are gonna maybe some people are not gonna agree with me, but I totally believe that this is the time to strike. This is the time for. I don't think that we've had a better market than we're entering right now.
I agree too, man. I think that, at least for me, this is my message to buyers is that this is a perfect, not a perfect scenario, but it is a great scenario for a lot of home buyers that for the last 2.5 years couldn't buy, right? When it comes to negotiating prices, receiving seller assistance, receiving, even, more. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a lot of lender programs now through brokers that can provide, certain solutions for the buyers. So here's my question. Who is the buyer right now? Who's really buying a home right now?
The current buyer right now is the first-time buyer, a person that has not owned a home or has been renting for a while. These are the people that got pushed out of the market about 2-3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. This is their time because there is a lot of opportunities. There is credits and concessions given by sellers that we have not seen, Moses, for about 4 or 5 years.
I agree, yeah.
So when I tell people your market is now, you have to strike and you have to come out because these opportunities may not last, another 6 months to a year. So yeah, I definitely agree that this is a great time for first-time buyers.
Now, I don't want to just say, hey, it's a great market. It's a market for buyers, or it's time for you to buy because we're biased and we're real estate agents and lenders. But really, like, what is like your honest reason? Like, what would you say? Hey, look, this is why you need to buy. Because right now, I'm looking for stuff. Right. This is I feel like it's my opportunity as a beginner investor who has multiple investment opportunities to continue to grow my portfolio. This is like my market. I'm looking at it now. Maybe I'm not making money, but at least I'm gaining assets during this time. And the money making, at least for me, is 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now, right? So, I don't want to just tell people, hey, this is the perfect time to buy because that's what we say. Really give me a real one reason or two reasons why people should buy right now.
Moses, one of the biggest reasons I tell you right now is the growth in Kern County is growing at a rapid pace. I have been sharing probably for the last 2 years that Kern County was expecting 35,000. Not Kern County, let me back that up. Bakersfield alone was expecting 35,000 people to relocate by the end of 2023. Okay, if only 25% of that 35,000 was to purchase a home, that's 8,000 new homeowners. We don't have that kind of inventory. So Moses, we're going to struggle with affordability. We're going to struggle with inventory for the years to come. Kern County is expected to grow in appreciation of 25% in the next 3 to 5 years. Yes. As long as Southern California, Los Angeles doesn't come up with a solution to create better housing for them, they are fleeing to Kern County. They're fleeing to Bakersfield. And this is one of the reasons why I tell people you have to purchase a home. We can't stop the masses of people that are coming here. You know what's funny, Moses, is that there is more out-of-town buyers right now shopping than actual local buyers. Have you seen that?
I agree. I mean, we're constantly prospecting. We have a full team of agents constantly, calling individuals from web leads to online inquiries to open house signs or for sale signs to everything. And I agree. Probably like 75% of the people that have an escrow right now are out-of-town buyers.
That is correct. I had projected that we were going to be at 50% about a year ago, and we have exceeded actually more than 50% now. So yes, it's about 75% are out-of-towners. Only 25% of our locals are entering the market. So that is the key, the number one reason why we have to address the home ownership and why people need to be purchasing right now.
Yes, I do agree that Kern County has for a while now has been one of the most rapid growing cities in the last in California, but also one of the most second, I think is the second most affordable county in the state of California. And people have been realizing this, and this is where I feel like we see this migration. So we've been seeing this movement of people from Southern California, even some parts of Northern Central California, moving into Bakersfield. And at least here in Bakersfield, we're lucky enough to have, even though we have inventory issues, we are lucky enough to have new construction and we have space, right, to continue to grow and build. So, guys, this is not just a real estate update. This is more of an insight of what's happening in the real estate market now. What are you seeing, Daniel? What do you see in the horizon for buyers here in the next year?
In the next year, Moses, we are expecting a shift in the market again back to a seller's market. Right now, there's a national website, a national company called K Shields that tracks all purchase contracts, public and private, and they have confirmed there's 3-to-1 ratio right now, 3 buyers to 1 listing.
Yes.
In the next 12 months, they're projecting 20 buyers to 1 listing. If you go onto NAR's website and you check their site, they say that as soon as the rates hit the low 6%, they're expecting 5 million buyers to enter the market.
Yes.
So that's what we're expecting in the next 12 months. We are expecting to shift back to a seller's market, and we're going to go back into that craziness, chaotic world of hurry up, submit an offer without looking at the property, right? Highest and best. What do you got? So yes, that's.
I literally, this is, I guess the best analogy that I've shared is like, I feel like it's a slingshot that we're pulling by increasing these rates, right? We've been pulling it back, right? Because the moment the slingshot, maybe not let go, but at least released a little bit, is where we're going to see this wave, right, of buyers just come out and say, hey, look, I need to take advantage of this interest rate before it does. We might not see 3s, but 5 is better than 8s. Right, so I do agree with you that we're going to see a market shift right back into where we were at right during after COVID, right, and during those times we saw a massive of a flow over of offers on properties. People were overpaying, and this is again, guys. I want to make this clear. This is about debunking myths too. I want to be as clear as possible that offers are submitted based on what buyers want to purchase a home. Right, agents, we recommend certain things. At least I'm speaking for myself. We recommend a purchase price on a home. However, when supply and demand makes you do things, and we saw this with toilet paper, we see this with different things, right? Just to give you guys a little bit of context, but in the housing industry is no different. We saw a supply of demand where people needed to pay. I mean, we don't complain when we were paying for those plastic gloves. Remember those gloves?
Yeah.
I remember those things were like $199 for a big box. Now you go buy those things are like $15.99. It's right. Like, and the price hasn't gone down because we're not using them anymore, but it's like we're not complaining about that. We're not complaining about the gas going up, and it's not coming back down either. So, but when it comes to housing, we complain that we're overpaying, or that the market. We hope that the market crashes and things like those. So it's just. I just want to debunk some of those things. So let's debunk one of the biggest myths right now. And what's one of the biggest myths that you're actually, you're hearing, or that when you're talking to buyers, that you just want to say, look, this is not true? What's one of the biggest bunks that you want to debunk right now? One of the biggest myths you want to debunk right now?
Oh, the biggest one, of course, man. We got to address it, right? That values are going to come down. That you got to wait because the market's going to crash. I hear this all the time. We get young people, first-time buyers to go buy, and then we get the dad, the mom, the coworker to come out with this story that the market's going to crash, and suddenly the hopes and that inspiration of buying goes away, and the client and the consumer goes cold. So yeah, that is the number one thing right now, that the market's going to crash.
I literally created a market crash label in my CRM system. So when I talk to somebody and they tell me market crash, I'm waiting for the market to crash, I literally label them as a market crasher. Because as soon as the market doesn't crash, right, those are the people that I'm calling. However, though, I feel that when somebody says, I'm waiting for the market to crash, they're not waiting for the market to crash. They're literally just waiting for the market to we all say, like, there's always going to be adjustments, right? And there's cycles to these things. But I just know that they're waiting for a better position, which might be interest rate. Might be a job position. It might be, saving some more money. Is for me, at least, when people say I'm waiting for the market to crash and I dig a little deeper, there's always something there. And this is always the way that I take it. I say, look, okay, let's just say the market crashes on Monday. Where's your credit score like? Oh, it's not that good.
That's right.
Okay, so how much do you have in savings? Oh, I don't have any in savings. Okay. You're working right now? Oh, I've been only working for a year. I haven't filed my taxes. I'm like, so regardless of the market, if the market was to crash tomorrow, you're not ready. So I always tell people, let's get ready to buy a home. So how does somebody get ready in today's market to buy a home?
Well, first of all, you have to come see someone like me. You have to come and understand your financing options, understand what loan strategy you're going to need for you and your family based off your financial needs today. Once you understand that program, the payment, and the cost that you're going to have for that program, you want to start building either you want to start building the savings for that, you want to start preparing yourself for that, and you want to sit back and watch the market. Man, I think it's so funny that everybody wants to wait, Mo, until they go to that open house. Like you said, the opportunity comes, and then they come to see me. Hurry up, Daniel! I got to make an offer by Friday at 5. And guess what? They are not ready. So, number one thing, come see me or come see someone in our local market that can prepare you, can educate you, and get you on the right path to be ready for that opportunity.
I totally agree, man. Getting prepared or getting ready is always the most important part of buying a home. And when I talk to a home or when I talk to prospects online or people that inquire about buying a home, it's always the same thing. They want to see the home first, right? And then they want to talk or they want to talk about their position. Always encourage people to first person you should be calling is a lender, right? Yes. Call me. I'll direct you to the lender, right? But again, talking to a lender is very important. Not just because they get you ready. Sometimes people are not ready, man. I always tell you the stars have to align sometimes.
That is correct.
So, seeing a lender prior shopping before even going out, just as simple as that. I'm a guy that I don't go shopping unless I got the money. I don't go car shopping unless I know I got good credit. I don't go shopping unless I have money coming in. Like, I just don't. Like, why would I go waste my time looking at things? It just and you might say, hey, we're dreaming, right? We're motivating ourselves. No. Like, I just don't want to waste my time like that. So if you're anything like me, meeting with the lender is the first step because you understand what it's gonna take to buy a home, guys. One of the biggest assets that most people have is their home.
That's correct.
So it's not gonna just happen just because who's the president or what's happening to the market. It is never about that. It's about how ready somebody is, right? Or how prepared somebody is to actually purchase a home. And sometimes you might have the best job that you've had at whatever point of your life, the most savings that you've had at a point of your life, and the best credit score that you've had in your life. But the market, at least to your eyes, maybe it's not what everybody, your Theo, your uncles, your dad, everybody else has received. But that is the best time for you to buy because you're the most prepared. What would you say to that?
That is totally correct. You have to buy when it's your time. You can never try to time the market or try to wait for someone else to tell you when it's a great time. Mm-hmm. If everything's aligned for you and you see the opportunity, like the opportunity that's in today's market today, you have to purchase a home. You have to just take that leap of faith. When you're working with advisors like you and I, Moses, I mean, we're guiding you just like if we would guide our own kids, our own cousins, our family members, right? Yes. And so we're not going to lead you to a path because we've been doing this for so long that we guide our clients and we're there with them through the life of the loan. So we're like beside them after they even buy the home, right? And so we have to always advise them and we are guiding them. And when we help them build that wealth, like those clients right now that believed in us in 2020 when they said, no, the market's going to crash, right? And today they're sitting with $50,000, $60,000 more,
$100,000 in
equity, right? And so now they're really grateful and thankful in believing us that they bought at the right time, yes. Not because a cousin told them or the relative, yes, because they got the solid advice from people like you and I.
Yes. That's totally right, man. And there's a handful of stories that I can think of people that told me
same thing,
right? A handful of people that said, "No, I'm not gonna buy." And they're literally tell me now, hey, I should have listened to you. And they can buy. They can buy because they've been pushed out of the market.
That is correct.
Right? They've been pushed out of the market. So, I want you to share with us I want to give you guys a little bit of context of what's happening in the market. So let's give some people some success stories. Your latest file, maybe you walk somebody through not the perfect scenario, but, and I have a handful of them, but, I want to hear maybe from the lender side, walk us through a success story in today's market.
So here's a great story. I have the Garcia family that about 13 months ago, they decided to take a lease because they couldn't compete in the market. It was a market where you had to give highest and best. Mm-hmm. They were placed out of the market, so they took a lease. But I still gave them a mortgage plan, something that they can prepare for. So when that year was here, they were ready for it. And guess what? The year's here. Moses. It's quick, it's fast, right? So we came into a market to where we prepared them. We told them what credit score, how much money they have in the bank, and we strategized with them with a buyer's market. So today we are under contract after their lease is up and their rent's going up again, Moses. Okay, he got the notice that the rent went over $200. So he's buying a home right now. We helped him with down payment assistance. The seller is contributing a credit of $10,000 for his closing costs, and he's walking in with the exact amount I told him 13 months ago.
Wow, that's actually amazing, brother. Because I mean, I feel like the market has been the same about for the last year or so, right? What do you think?
Yeah,
It's been the biggest. Tell me one of the biggest change that you've seen in the buyer right now, like, why somebody won't qualify today but did qualify 2 years ago. Like, give me some examples of why somebody wouldn't qualify today versus 2 years ago.
One of the biggest reasons why is the income changes. I think right now we've gone, once again, in a recession. What do we start losing? We start losing jobs. We start losing overtime. We start losing commissions, right? And so a lot of employers in California are rolling people from a W-2 to a 1099. There is different pay structures and challenges that are coming into California. And so you could have had a solid W-2 wage earner income, and suddenly now we see the shift of people becoming 1099.
Yeah.
And they think, it sounds good when you're getting all your gross income, but there is a concern when it comes down to lending or what you actually file at the end of every year, right? After expenses.
Yes.
So that's one of the biggest one of why people can't purchase right now.
What about debt? I feel like debt is one of the another factor that I've seen, at least as I listen to lenders speak to clients. I feel like debt has quadrupled on people from the last 2 years.
Moses, you're totally right. I think that's number two. Number one, I think it's battling with the income change, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, the average household in America is carrying $40,000 to $50,000 in consumer debt. That is an average payment about $1,500 to $1,800 a month, just the minimum payments. Also, too, the average car payment in America is $875. Yes. Now, if you buy a truck, that's more like $1,200, right? Yes. So the American consumers right now, the debt is really high in the household, and that right there is posing a problem with buying a home.
So then right now your typical home buyer right now is no longer the single income or the single, how do you say it? A single household income no longer can purchase a home. You need at least 2 to 3 incomes now. Is that a true statement?
That is a true statement, Moses. I truly believe, and I've been talking about this for probably the last 2 years, that we were going to run into a market, we were going to run into an economy where the first-time home buyer, the single income, was going to be placed out of the market. I truly believe right now that we're going to go into, and you're going to hear it here from me today. It's called multi-generation living. It's nothing new. It's been around for decades, right? In LA, Southern California, where 3 generations live under one roof. And so we are seeing now, 2 generations, mom, dad, children buying together a household. So the single income, the first time buyer is being placed out of the market today.
Yes. Okay. So, I'm a buyer right now. I want to buy today. What would you tell me that I need to look at before calling the lender?
I would tell you to look at your current debts. I would like to look at what you currently owe and see if there's anything you can pay off.
Let's try that one more time, just because I have the camera on me. Okay. So I'm a current buyer, that wants to buy right now, Daniel. What do I need to look at from my finances to my job to my paperwork? What do I need to look at before reaching out to you?
First thing I will tell you to look at is your current open debts. What do you have that you can pay off? What do you have that you can, remove off your credit so that you can free up some income for your qualifications?
Okay, awesome. So looking at debt first then.
Yes.
Looking at debt, looking at savings, and looking at obviously income and how much you're making. Yeah. The 3 most important factors, right?
The 3 most important factors.
Right? I heard somebody talk about somebody online who talks about why people should not buy homes, and they were sharing that the reason why people shouldn't buy homes is because Every month you pay, if you rent, you pay a rent, and that rent's due, and it doesn't changes. But I think that's a myth that we have to debunk right now, because you brought it up earlier with your success story. You said that these people got into a lease, and literally their lease is coming to an end, and their rent's about to go up. So I want to debunk that suggestion that, you know, renting is always going to be better than buying. Is renting better than buying?
It's never going to be better than buying. Yes, you may have a lower payment in today, but rents are always going to appreciate, and they're going to continue appreciating in our world. We're talking Bakersfield, Kern County. We expect, and there's a projection that rents will increase for the next 5 years, Moses, okay? If they can increase 10 to 12% by law, that's what the max they can increase. There is no stopping it. It's going to continue. Who knows what's going to happen 7 years from now? So let's debunk that. Home ownership is by far the best investment to create wealth for the family. Security, yes, you know, mortgages, 95% of mortgages are all fixed, right? So there's no fear of it going up 10, 20%. So by far, owning a home is the better option.
I shared something a couple of days ago on Instagram. I suggest you guys will look at it. And it was, I'd rather buy a home today. I'd rather buy a home today at $1 million. Just say $1 million home today at 8% than 2 years ago at $1.5 million at 3%. And the reason I say that is because 1.5, I was going to overpay for the home, but yes, I had a better interest rate. However, now, if I can buy that same home for $1 million, which is less at 8%, I could always refinance that interest rate. How do you feel about that statement?
That is totally correct. I read this article, and I believe Zillow and other national companies have came out with it, that 6 out of 10 buyers that bought in the market when the rates were 2 and 3%, Moses, actually are not happy with the home they purchased.
Yes, I agree.
And they gave over and above the asking value. So they expect that 6 out of 10 buyers will be listing their home soon because they really want to purchase the home they really desire and want to live in. So they had to settle for a different neighborhood, different area, because there was no housing, and they're regretting the purchase. There's a buyer's regret going on right now.
There's a big buyer's regret going on. People are regretting what they bought, but now they're stuck buying what they bought because they're comparing 3% to the 8% now.
That is so true.
Right? But they don't compare that. They overpay for a price. And one of the things that I want to share is that you can never renegotiate the price.
Never.
Once you purchase, you purchase. But you can always renegotiate the interest rate with the refinance in the future.
That is correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Cool. Now you and I had a conversation on the phone, and the reason we're here, I wanted to kind of end it with this is, you know, we talked about, you know, right now the buyers that we're seeing out there, right? We talked about, is not your typical. I don't even know what you guys call him. I'll just call my typical buyer who has, you know, great credit score, who has, 2 years income, everything's on point, right? I'm not seeing that right now, at least with the buyers that I'm working with. Every buyer that I'm working with has some kind of special condition in their file, right? So let's talk a little bit about that. I know that's the reason you're here today, because I really want to talk about that. Let's talk about, right now the people that are buying and why they have some kind of special condition, and why, we're going to see more of that here in the next couple of months.
Well, let's address the elephant in the room, right? The interest rates have really scared off a lot of people, and they walked away. And we call those the buyers that you're talking about. In a pool of buyers, we call them A, Bs, and Cs, right? Let's just talk about, they're just the ideal buyer for any lender, right? That the high FICO scores, great income, great credit, right? They've walked away from the market, right, because of the interest rates. Right now, we're seeing a large amount of buyers that are coming out. Let's identify them as CDs and Fs, right? I love working with CDs and Fs. These are by far the greatest, probably the best clients I can work with. But yes, they come with a challenge, right? They're first-time buyers with maybe not so much savings in the bank. I-10 borrowers. Let's talk about self-employed borrowers that have money, but they don't have the taxes. And then there's retirees. There's people that relocate to Bakersfield that have money, but they don't have jobs. They don't have income. This is the buyer in today's market. We're probably going to have these buyers for probably 6 to 8 months.
Okay, got it. So we're literally dealing with people who have money in their couches or under the mattresses. We're dealing with people who, like you said, have really good income. However, though, on paper they don't, right? Or are using your non-traditional type of financing.
That's right.
So can I explain that a little bit? What is a non-traditional financing?
A non-traditional finance is considered something that does not fall into what we call a qualified mortgage. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all the national agencies have created, let's just say, a standard box of financing, right? Anything that doesn't fit that standard, outside of it, there is portfolio lending, there is non-qualified mortgages that you can apply for that a lot of people don't know that are out there. And so some people are not in the market because they've never heard of these programs. And this is why I had called you to tell you that this is going to be the market for the next 6 to 8 months. And I want to hyper vocalize the opportunities that are here for those buyers, because once again, those buyers were placed out of the market. They haven't been in the market in years because no one's told them about non-qualified or portfolio mortgages, I like to call them.
Yeah. So let's talk to the client. I mean, somebody who's sitting at home right now. How do they know if they fall under the? How do they know if they fall under the A or B or C and D and F?
Well, C, D, and F, right? So if you have money saved, but you can't source your income, if you have an I-10, if you have maybe a low FICO score, you need down payment assistance, you don't have savings, but you have an income that you know you can pay for a mortgage, you can pay for a home today. That is the buyer that we're looking for. That is the buyer that is going to take this opportunity and make something happen of it.
Got it. Perfect. Good. All right. So we'll, comment below whether you're an A, B, or C, D, or F type of buyer. That'd be a good one. So awesome, man. Perfect. And, first of all, thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing all this information. This is definitely great insight to what's happening in today's market, right? What's something that you can, look at, people right now who are maybe on the fence. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to, we bring you guys good information, but this is Moses in my personal opinion. What I tell people is do your own research. There is a lot of great national data, great companies that are bringing out a lot of information. Look at them. We don't have the crystal ball, but they have been on point, right? Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac had talked about interest rates were going to be you're going to be higher in 2022 and 2020 and 23. They nailed it. They are now coming out that by the end of 2024, rates will be in the low 6%. I'm telling you, they do carry the crystal ball, and they kind of line everything up as they talk about it, right?
They are the crystal ball.
So if they're already talking about it, we got to believe that they're going to be right. And so this is what I kind of tell people, follow the smart money and the smart buyers, right? The smart money is the big agencies. They're pretty much leading us, and they're telling us where the market is going to be next, and we got to always follow them.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming out, brother. Hope we could do this again. It was amazing information. And yes, continue to follow us. Continue to, like and share our content. If you're looking to buy or sell, this is the opportunity to make an appointment with us. Shoot us a direct message. We would love to give you all the information you need from, buyers roadmaps to give you more understanding to seller market updates, to make sure that you understand maybe it is the time for you to get away from that 3%, the home that you're not happy in, and move into that new home. And let us show you how. There's definitely ways for us. There's definitely programs and ways for us to help you and kind of put everything into alignment for you to feel happy and secure with your new home. So thanks again. We'll see you guys next time.